Hey guys, Wrestling Throwdown here. I'm Haley and I got Joe with me tonight, and we are going to talk about Raw last night. Raw was, in my opinion, very good. I thought a lot of good shocking moments. I even talked to Paul Jazer about this, and he said like there was like two or three moments where he like marked out. Like it was pretty great. So I know Joe, your opinions on Raw. I know you liked it too a lot.
Oh yeah, I'd give it a solid 9.5 out of 10. The strongest Raw rating I would give a Raw in at least 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Very good go home show before Hell in a Cell. And that's exactly how Raws are supposed to be before pay-per-views. You know, they actually did it great last time. And I liked how they left Hogan off and they did it they did his little stupid interview, after Raw went off the air. That was perfect. They focused on the two main event matches, and that was just obviously there is going to only be one main event match. Obviously, the whole John Cena and Randy is going to be the main event, obviously, but
I
still.
hope not. I know with the announcement it sounds like Chris Sterling's proclamation may come true after that announcement, but
Yeah,
I guess we'll. I still feel like Dean sets the main event.
I know, me too. Well, Authority starts off. Pretty much everyone's out there except for Stephanie. And they talk about the 3-on-2 street fight later on. And then they talk about Hell in a Cell and about how there's two main events, obviously, with Randy and John Cena and Seth and Dean. And then Seth grabs the mic and says that he likes that Money in the Bank nickname, but he wants to be called something else and everything like that. And he starts undisputed, future champion and blah blah blah. And then he starts talking about how he's the future and everything. And that's Randy gets all upset and says that he's the main event pitcher and Seth needs to back off and blah blah blah. And they get into it again. And then Randy kind of talks about the Royals. They were in Kansas City last night. And if you guys know, the Royals are actually in the World Series. And so he talks about the Royals not winning in 29 years and everything like that.
Yep.
And he just kind of gets under their skin a little bit. And Randy starts talking about how he's going to make Triple H proud and everything like that. And he's got this and everything. And Triple H will say that he knows all of them will make him proud for the main event tonight. And that's pretty much what just happened. It was a good segment, obviously. Start off Raw, just getting a little bit of a talk and everything, get some Randy on some heat on the Royals and everything like that. Randy, I'll tell you one thing. Randy was great last night. I mean, he was just on fire with his mic skills. Very, very good. I felt like he was the older Randy, finally. He really needed that. He was really great.
I thought Randy's performance was the best performance he had since prior to WrestleMania. I felt after WrestleMania, since he's lost the title, it's been one disappointment after another, and I thought he really brought his A game. The fact that he is from St. Louis, Missouri, I'm sure he's a diehard St. Louis Cardinals fan. For you non-baseball fans out there, it's a natural rivalry, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Kansas City Royals. So I think what helped Randy's heel promo on the Royals was the fact that he is from St. Louis and he was able to, really cut in there. It's like a New Yorker going to Boston and really cutting into the Red Sox. So I thought that added a little extra visceral heat for him.
Definitely. It's a good segment, though. Sheamus and the Usos versus The Miz, Goldust, and Stardust. And now it was supposed to be The Miz, but obviously Mizdow filled in for him. And I was actually shocked. Damian Sandow / Mizdow actually pinned Sheamus. Sheamus is on a losing streak right now. But as they say, usually when they're on a losing streak, they'll win, when it matters the most. That's usually what the pattern they go into. But I think it would be awesome. Like, maybe they're actually starting to feel like, since people are actually getting behind Damian Sandow, maybe they're actually kind of thinking about this push for him, and maybe they're going to actually possibly end up turning him face, having him win all these matches for The Miz, and then having Miz, like maybe him win the title for Miz one day, and then Miz say that he won, and maybe it'll get under Damian Sandow's, skin and stuff, and then maybe Miz won't even say thank you, and Miz will just kind of be cocky to him and everything, and then maybe, you know, kind of like the whole Alex Riley thing a little bit. And maybe they're possibly going to have Damian Sandow do his own thing. So I think it was pretty awesome. But they did win. So, yeah, he pinned Sheamus. And Sheamus is on a losing streak. I think Sheamus just needs to lose that title. And I think it would be great if they gave it to Damian Sandow. I don't even like Damian Sandow, and I'm actually really excited for this push that they possibly could be giving him.
Well, similar to Dolph Ziggler, who really gave the crowd a lot of credit in his ascension back to Intercontinental title prominence, I feel like Damian Sandow really needs to give the crowd a lot of credit. A few weeks ago in Brooklyn, really I think the last 2 or 3 Raws, they've really been hot for Sandow. Sandow's better chance. Michael Cole even asking Miz on commentary, hey, it seems like your stunt double's getting more popular than you. So it seems like they are planting the seeds to a possible Damian Sandow, maybe a Mizdow face turn push, if you will. I don't know if it'll start at Hell in the Cell or maybe Survivor Series, but it's definitely coming. And you know what? My friend Tom Billington, who wrestles for RWA in Rhode Island, actually wrestles with Chris Sterling, he said the best thing on his Facebook. He was like, hey, give Sandow a gimmick. He makes it work. And that's really what's been happening. It's been almost the lowest possible gimmick to give him, and he's made it work and then some. So you got to give Damian Sandow a lot of credit, the true talent, and the crowd just really giving him the props that he deserves. Great to see as a Sandow. You're welcome.
Definitely. And it also helps, too. That's pretty much what it does with your push. If they give you all these crappy-ass gimmicks, and if you don't complain, you just go out there and make them the best, you are going to eventually get that push.
Yep. Dusty Rhodes and polka dots. Made it work. The greats, no matter how the gimmick, will make it work.
Definitely. Triple H and Randy backstage. And Randy was saying that he'll beat John Cena and Brock Lesnar, blah, blah, blah. And then Triple H says that, you know, the whole idea, and I forgot to talk about this in the beginning segment, pretty much the winner of John Cena and Randy, that's also why I think this is going to be the main event, too. The winner of John Cena and Randy is supposed to face Brock Lesnar, obviously, at Survivor Series or whatever, whenever he comes back. And Triple H pretty much says that it was Seth's idea, and that he pretty much tells Randy that he should thank Seth. And Randy goes, kind of like a little hesitant, and he's just like, well, why would Seth, you know, want to do that for me? And he goes, well, I'll find Seth and I'll thank him personally. And that was pretty interesting.
The Viper taking
yeah, you knew something was going to happen tonight with these two. They just kept getting under each other's skin back and forth. I didn't think it was going to happen this time soon, but you definitely seen something happening where they were eventually just not going to like each other and they were just going to blow up on each other.
I mean, to me, this is all setting up for Orton to get that one-on-one title shot, which, you know, we've said it in the past, Randy Orton never received a one-on-one championship rematch after he lost the title at WrestleMania, and as a matter of fact, he didn't even get pinned or submitted to lose the title. It was Dave Bautista who tapped out to the yes lock to lose the title. So Randy Orton hopefully can get his title shot. And let's face it, Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, they only fought, to my knowledge, once on the WWE roster, and that was way back when Randy was a pup and Brock was just becoming the champion back in 2003. I think fall of 2002, like October of 2002 on SmackDown. So this, we've seen the matches with Cena. They're almost old hat at this point. You know, could there be one last Cena-Lesnar match? Could be. Maybe even at the Royal Rumble. But as of right now, I think it's better to wait for that last Cena and Lesnar match. I really hope we get the Orton-Lesnar match. It'll be a different match, and I think they'll tell a good story.
Yeah, definitely. AJ Lee versus Alicia Fox. And AJ Lee, they actually finally announced this last night that she is going to defend her title against Paige on Sunday. I also want to talk about Paige for a minute here. I was actually shocked when Paul told me, and I had to look it up. Paige and Alicia Fox. I'm not really surprised about Alicia Fox, but I'm surprised about Paige. They are both joining Total Divas when it starts in January. the halfway mid through season 3. And I was actually shocked that Paige agreed to this because I thought she was going to be more like AJ Lee and obviously turn them down. And the whole thing with Vince, too, he said that supposedly he doesn't want a diva to have the title on there, like have them be diva champion. So it's just like, are they actually planning on AJ Lee having it for a really long time again? Or are they actually going to, possibly put it on Paige a couple months, or even possibly, I guess, this month if she wins this week, and maybe switch their mind and actually have her carry the title on the show? I think it would be interesting, but I don't know. I'm kind of, interested about that too, because I guess we get to know more about her and everything, and there's rumors about who she's dating, if she's dating Corey Graves, or there has been pictures of her and Sami Zayn too. But it would be really awesome if she is dating Corey Graves because I really want to see him. So hopefully he'll get back into the WWE picture. I know he's had some concussions and stuff, but hopefully he'll get back into the WWE picture if they actually do this now with Paige, being on there, and if they actually really are going on in real life.
But, I mean, it's a solid addition. I feel like Paige, people care more about Paige than all 9 of those other divas on Total Divas, including the Bellas and Natty. So from that standpoint, it's not a bad decision. She'd already been semi-featured on there. They did a scene a few weeks ago where Rosa was kind of hitting on her a little bit. And Rosa, who's no stranger to old men, rumors circulating that she was dating Michael Hayes, and that's the breakup that happened that caused her to go off the deep end, and that Michael Hayes saved her job, and that's the reason why she's on Total Divas, because Michael Hayes made sure of that. So, now you add Paige, you add Alicia Fox, who's also been featured on the show in the past, so it wasn't exactly surprising. I mean, AJ Lee, like she calls herself the One Diva Revolution, she's not going to attach herself to any of that. But Paige Young, she's still trying to, establish her name in the business, and it's not a bad decision. If I'm Paige, I think I would have made the same decision. And by the way,
it definitely will get more views. I feel like more people will definitely watch it now because they'll be, excited to see what, Paige and who she's actually dating in real life and everything like that.
I thought she had the hots for JBL.
Alicia Fox wins, though, after a distraction, so it's funny. AJ Lee, she's kind of been winning a few, and then she's been losing a few. And we are actually supposed to be doing a prediction show this week, too. I gotta figure out when we're supposed to do that, because it's this week. I can't believe it's already this week. But I do still see that AJ Lee's going to win. I think it would be kind of a mess if they just keep flipping and flopping this title. I mean, if they're actually going to plan on keeping it on AJ Lee for a little bit, if they're actually going to give it to Paige, and then they're going to actually, keep it on her for a little bit, then fine, give it to Paige. But whatever they do with this whole thing, they need to keep it on someone for at least 4 to 6 months, I would think.
Seems like a safe bet after they've been playing hot potato with the Divas title for the past few months. Don't discredit Charlotte getting in the picture either. I wouldn't rule that out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially with a new girl just made her debut. What was her name? I forgot what her name was. Carmella or something like that. She's in WWE, and she just made it on NXT, I think, last week. And then Becky Lynch, that Irish girl, who I actually did some research on. I talked about this too.
Lynch, that's a great indie wrestler. Yeah. I know who Becky Lynch is.
Yeah, I heard she's like extremely good. I did my research on her. I heard like a lot of people really like her and everything. And she's actually supposed to be getting a push soon. That is the word they're talking about her backstage. So she could possibly be in the title picture soon with Charlotte maybe, and we'll just see what happens. Be interesting. Because a lot of people don't like how WWE's treating her right now. They think she deserves a lot better, I guess.
Well, can't treat them all like gods.
Yeah. Randy backstage with Seth, he thinks, and he asked Seth why he, did that for him, pretty much made the match. And Seth said, well, I'm a team player, and we're both in the authorities, and I'm just looking out for you. And then Randy tells him to stay out of his business. And so obviously, Seth gets a little bit upset about this because he did something nice for Randy, and Randy is still being an asshole. So he pretty much says that the future will take care of itself. And, I mean, obviously, Randy is splitting from the authority very soon because obviously that's why Seth did what he did at the end. We're not going to talk about that right now. But obviously, Seth was still pissed about this whole thing, and Randy just not being very unappreciative of what Seth's been trying to do for Randy and trying to make him happy. And obviously, Randy's still, pissed and everything. So obviously, I guess Randy got what was coming for him tonight. Seth just couldn't take any more of his crap, and I guess Seth just got pissed off and flipped a switch, and I guess so. I mean...
Well, I mean, Seth Rollins has been the darling of the authority for months. Randy's been the forgotten factor, so I don't blame Randy for stepping up and doing what he did tonight from a kayfabe standpoint. And hey, Rollins, got to give him credit. A lot of cojones on that young man.
Definitely. And then Randy comes out.
Huh?
And then Randy comes out, and he still talks about the Royals and how they won't win just to get their attention because they keep booing them and stuff like that, and they're not paying attention to him. So he gets extremely pissed. Like, I mean, he's like going off the deep end, and he just says like, "Oh, Royals are not gonna win." He's just like, "Now do I got your attention? Now do I got your attention?" It was so funny. And then he talks about him and Xena feud and how, back in 2002 and everything, when him and Xena first made their debuts and everything, they were the hot new stars and everything. And then he goes into their feud and everything like that. And he says that their feud is still he says it still feels unfinished. So he says they're going to end it finally. So we'll see about that, though.
There's been other they've billed as the end of that rivalry. I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah. And then he talks about how he respects him, but he's better than him. And then Xena comes out, and he calls him a dumbass. He says that it's not 2002 anymore, it's 2014. And he talks about the last time you were relevant was 2002. So just shut up. It was pretty funny, though. Because he's technically, I mean, he's not really right. Randy was good in 2009, too. But Randy, it's been a few years for Randy to really, pop out of the surface, I feel like. And so this time tonight, I felt like he was actually finally getting back on track, and he's finally still showing that he has something in him. And John Cena pretty much says that he has no chance in beating him. And then Paul Heyman comes out. I was very surprised to see Paul Heyman. We have not seen Paul Heyman in a couple weeks, and then I didn't think we were going to see him anyways because the whole Brock Lesnar thing. Brock Lesnar supposedly isn't supposed to be here until Royal Rumble, so
live.
Yeah, that is the rumor. I don't know if they're actually going to do that or what. But
I feel like that story, which didn't Dave Meltzer, wasn't he one of the original ones who got that story? Forgive me if I may be mistaken on that. I'm starting to that they leak false leads to Dave Meltzer to throw people off. Just like Dave Meltzer reported that CM Punk was going to return to Payback or whatever. Like, he's gotten a few stories wrong now. And like I said, I almost feel like someone from WWE is intentionally leaking false information to him and other various internet sources to throw off the internet. That's what I think. I mean, like, they wanted to piss us off. Oh, Brock's not going to win the Royal Rumble. Clearly, that's not the case. And everybody was getting pissed at Brock when that was WWE's decision. Right? Am I right? So, the logical thing, you need to have the title defended at Survivor Series. It's a Big Four pay-per-view. Brock Lesnar needs to be there. If he's not at TLC, he's not at TLC. And based on what happened tonight, I wouldn't be shocked if the Beast Incarnate shows up at Hell in a Cell to make his presence known, quite frankly.
Yeah, he definitely could.
And especially what happened in that promo. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and he talks about Brock Lesnar too, and he talks about how he was, champion and everything, and he beat The Rock and everything. And he says he calls Randy and John Cena both equals, and that Brock Lesnar has no equal, and they want no part in Brock Lesnar. So John Cena says that he obviously he can't take anymore, so he picks up Paul Heyman and almost puts him in the AA. He has him for the AA. And Paul's like screaming, I'm sorry, please don't do this to me, put me down, put me down. And John Cena puts him down. And so Randy Orton RKO Cena. And out of nowhere. And I mean, we kind of seen it coming, but Paul's laughing and everything like that, and Randy's just looking down at him. And then Randy just goes, after you, Paul. Paul's leaving. And just out of nowhere, Randy Orton RKO's Paul Heyman. This was definitely a mark-out moment. I love Paul Heyman, but this was great. And this was also kind of what me and Joe were talking about before this show, how the split from Authority can actually happen too, because it seems like Randy's kind of got a little bit of baby face now in him because he just RKO'd Paul Heyman. So he's pretty much showing that he's not friends with anybody. He's his own person and everything like that. So this can definitely be put into the Authority breakup, pretty much, of him stealing away from the Authority.
I feel like if Brock Lesnar wasn't going to be at Survivor Series, we wouldn't have heard his name tonight. We would have even seen Paul Heyman. The fact that Paul Heyman took an RKO in the middle of that very ring, to me, almost confirms the fact that we will see Randall Keith Orton and Brock Lesnar at almost convinces me. I mean, come on now. Now Brock's going to get his revenge on Randy for taking out his boy. So, although Brock never got revenge on Seth for curb stomping him, so.
Definitely. And guys, I apologize for that rude interruption right there. But yeah, I definitely agree with this whole thing with Randy, and the whole Brock thing too. Why was Paul Heyman there? People were saying, like I was reading on websites, that Paul Heyman wasn't supposed to be here for like at least a few more weeks. And since he showed up last night, it's just like they're obviously planning something. They're planning for something sooner. And WWE always changes its mind at the last second. I mean, heck, the last few weeks they've been writing the script at the last second. So, anything's possible.
Anything is possible, and that's I think we'll get. I think, like I said, don't be shocked if you see the Beast this Sunday. Don't be shocked.
Definitely. Rusev versus Big E. First time we've seen Big E in a while.
Yeah.
Rusev wins, and then Big Show appears on screen. And pretty much there was supposed to be obviously a Russian flag going down, and nothing appeared. So then Big Show appeared on screen, and instead of the Russian flag being pulled down, the American flag got pulled down. And then so Rusev is about ready to pull down the American flag, and obviously I knew something was going to be stopped before he pulled it down. I knew they weren't going to obviously do that. And Army guy, he got into the ring, tried to stop him obviously from the audience. Obviously this was staged planned because it wasn't just like a regular audience member. And Rusev kicked him in the head, and then they left real fast and everything. And Big Show comes out. He's extremely pissed off and everything like that. And he calls Rusev out. There's no word from Rusev. So Big Show comes in the back, and he's trying to look for him. He still can't find him. And so that was pretty much that. So I guess I don't know if they're going to continue this on SmackDown or tonight, or if they're going to just wait until Hell in a Cell. I think they need to wait until Hell in a Cell. I think they left it on a good note, open kind of note. And I think that this would be perfect to leave until Hell in a Cell. I mean, what do you think, Joe? Do you think they left on a good part?
I agree. I thought these two segments were well done. When the Army guy came in, you had that suspension of disbelief. Like, I could see an Army guy getting all riled up, getting a little liquor in his system, jumping the barricade and trying to take a swing at Rusev. And then even with Rusev kicking him, if we go back to the 90s or even in the early 2000s, a lot of times when fans were stupid enough to hop the barricade. They're going at their own risk. You can watch old Nitro footage all the time. Macho Man and a bunch of the guys used to stomp out audience members that used to come in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not kayfabe. So this was obviously kayfabe, not shoot, but it came off well. Big Show trying to force himself to cry. I always hate that. But other than that, a lot of genuine emotion. And, this was a good way to hype the final match with Big Show and Rusev. I agree. Anything more they could do on SmackDown would be too much.
Yeah. It's funny because they actually tell WWE guys that if an audience member comes at them, it's free for all. Like, they can hit them back. And that's, I specifically remember the Eddie thing. Can't remember who Eddie was facing, but it was a ladder match. And he was climbing up. Was it Edge? He was climbing up the ladder, and an audience member pushed him off the ladder. And Eddie, I thought he was going to kill him. Eddie, beat the living crap out of the audience member. He was livid. And I don't blame him. I thought it was hilarious when he started beating the shit out of the audience member. But, yeah, they are supposed to, it's in their contract and everything that they can, if an audience member comes at them and attacks them, it's free for all. They can obviously defend themselves, and they won't get, obviously.
To preach to the audience members and the marks and the fans out there, I mean, you pay your hard-earned money to go to these shows. You want to cheer, you want to boo, even if you want to make stupid cheers like CM Punk. I may not co-sign on that, but it's your God-given American right with that First Amendment to say what you want. But when it comes down to actually physically touching, it's the same thing in the NFL. If someone runs on the field on a football game, the big mean linebacker is going to tackle him. It's again like going at it at your own risk. Baseball is probably the only sport where they'll let the guy run around and let security finally track him down. While the baseball players are kind of, chewing tobacco and sunflower seeds. But I mean, in all other sports, I mean, you've even seen it in basketball where fans and players actually fighting in the stands, going back to Detroit, the Malice and the Palace about 10 years ago. So I mean, just basically, fans, if you go to these shows, enjoy it, have fun, spend money, make noise, but don't physically. I mean, it's one thing people, touch the fucking people when they go in the audience, touch their back. That's one thing that I'm not in love with, but to actually physically try to assault these people, don't do it. And obviously, this Army thing was kayfabe. They turned a whole lot of segment into it. They wouldn't have even panned the camera on the guy after he got hit had it been non-scripted. I do know that.
Yeah, definitely. And I know there's been a few accidents. The only thing that happened why CM Punk was almost going to get sued for this was because, obviously, he hit the wrong guy that hit him. Obviously, yes. There was someone hit CM Punk. I think it was the guy in front of the guy that actually got hit. And then a guy behind him, he was putting on sunglasses. Why he was putting on sunglasses in the arena? He obviously looked shady, so that's probably why he got hit in the first place. And CM Punk obviously hit him, and obviously he's the wrong person. And the same thing with the Brock Lesnar thing, too, where he was, throwing video cameras and everything, and one, I guess, flung and hit the girl in the eye. I guess she had a pretty big bruise and everything, and the cameraman had to go and check on her and everything. But other than that, but these people get what they want. They ask for, pretty much.
Exactly. You want to see how real it is and hop the barricade, you're going to find out how real it is real quickly. So people out there, please, don't disrespect not just the wrestling, but the sports, soccer, whatever you may be watching. Don't disrespect the athletes on those fields, because as soon as you cross that threshold, it's not going to end well. It's just not.
Yeah. Dean Ambrose watching See No Evil in the back, too, and then he was eating popcorn. So funny. And then Xena comes up, and he goes, "Is this really your strategy, eating popcorn and watching a movie?" And Dean pretty much says, "Well, all we got to do is pretty much hit everything, punch everything that moves, and, just take them out before they take us out." And John Cena said he liked it, and then he calls him the Joker. I thought that was so funny because there's so many memes of the Joker and Dean Ambrose. I just think that's so funny. And then John Cena leaves and says he'll see him out there, and Dean goes back to eating popcorn and watching the movie. And we lost Joe. But the whole segment, the whole backstage segment was pretty funny. what else can I say about it? I mean, it was just pretty much for funny comedy stuff. Because obviously Kane just made a See No Evil too. He was in See No Evil. And so obviously the whole purpose was of Dean watching See No Evil too, to see how crazy Kane really is. And that was pretty much the whole purpose of that. He was trying to see exactly what Kane was really about before the match, and that was pretty much his strategy, I guess. Joe, your comments?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, it was an interesting segment correlating the See No Evil 2 promotion, obviously, and I actually watched the JBL and Cole, or should I say Z True Long Island Story, number 101 last week, and they did a little promotion for the See No Evil 2 movie as well. I mean, hey, it was a way to do a couple different things. It was entertaining. Cena calls Ambrose the Joker as opposed to Batman.
Yeah.
You know, the whole comic book reference was pretty cool. So I dug that segment. Solid.
Definitely. Summer Rae versus Brie Bella. This is just pretty much, I mean, obviously, they added a little bit more, I guess, to the stipulation. I guess we can talk about for Hell in a Cell. Not only is it Brie Bella versus Nikki Bella, and obviously the loser has to be the person's personal like slave, I guess, for 30 days. But I guess if they say no to it, or they, obviously, fulfill their duties, they have to leave WWE. And obviously, Brie's going to be the one who loses one way or another. Either Stephanie's going to help her, Nikki win, something like that. Something's going to happen where Brie is going to get screwed and lose, obviously. And because I feel like they're obviously, no one's going to leave. Brie and Nikki aren't going to leave. And obviously, I feel like if they would have Nikki lose, Nikki would just leave and she wouldn't, So, and it just would make more sense for Brie to be kind of like the personal slave, I feel like, because Nikki feels like she deserves it, and obviously she says Brie's treating her like crap and everything like that, and obviously with the whole stuff, Nikki Bella being on the Authority, she's still talking about a storyline with Seth Rollins. She keeps saying that she wants to be in a storyline with him in interviews and stuff like that. I just think it's funny because they were supposedly supposed to put them together for a storyline and they never did. I don't know if they're going to or what, but it would be interesting, I guess.
I think they came out together once for a main event and then they just nixed it.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, it was right when he turned heel. I think that she came out with him on the main event following that, and then no follow up after that. So I mean, clearly.
Yeah, she did. Yep. I just remembered about that.
Clearly, I don't think Mr. Cena, the man who runs the place, wants his boo or whatever involved in the heel story. We'll see. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Brie comes out on top on this, and I'm not rooting for P-Mode. But it's like you said, the word obvious. It's almost too obvious that Nikki could go on top. So I wouldn't be shocked if they threw us a little swerve here and had Brie win, just to continue it, and then Nikki could get her come up into the next month. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, something like that. But Brie Bella won, obviously, to make her look strong, and obviously Nikki's not looking too good. But obviously that's another thing why I think Nikki's going to come on top, because she's just going to get lucky or whatever. That's pretty much that. Dean Ambrose comes to the ring, and he brings a duffel bag. And he pulls out Seth Rollins' dummy, and he pretty much talks about him selling out and everything like that, and he tears off one of his hands. And then he slaps him with it, and then he just starts, like, destroying it with, like, a screwdriver, taking it into his face, and then hitting his head with a hammer. And then he power drives him. And Seth then comes out and says, oh, this is like your comedy act and stuff like that, and he obviously gets the sold out comments again, and he pretty much admits to it, and he goes, yeah, damn right I sold out, you all would too, you all are just going to take a whole bunch of pictures of me and, retweet, send them to me on Twitter like you always do. I thought that was funny. And pretty much he says that he's not afraid of Dean Ambrose, and so he starts getting in the ring. And then Mick Foley comes out. I was actually surprised to see Mick Foley. Definitely an appropriate time for Mick Foley to come out.
If I can interject for a second, very shocked they brought out Foley. Foley, we've seen express his displeasure with the WWE product multiple times over the past year, including going back to the Royal Rumble with Daniel Bryan last January. Mick Foley, I don't know if you realize this, was supposed to work a match with Dean Ambrose in 2012, but the doctor said no. So that nixed that idea for Foley to fight Ambrose, but for Foley to come out and kind of give his stamp of approval, we talked about Hogan and how they scrapped his appearance and put it on the YouTube stuff and the backstage pass. It was great to see Mick Foley, great to hear that music, great to see him come out and talk about his experiences in the Hell in the Cell. And I thought it was a great rub, if you will, for both Dean and Seth for, in my opinion, the king of the Hell in the Cell match, the hardcore legend Mick Foley, to come out and kind of endorse them both. I thought that was great.
Definitely. It was awesome. And he pretty much talks about the sacrifices he made. Dean says he's ready, and then Seth calls them both crazy. And that he will beat Dean, and then Mick Foley says that they don't know what they're getting themselves into. And then he leaves, and then Dean tries to attack Seth, and then Seth gets away, and he throws the dummy at him and everything. And Seth just screams, "You've embarrassed me for the last time." And that was pretty much that. Great segment. The
awesome segment.
Just great. I thought the Mick Foley thing just made it definitely very appropriate. I mean, the thing with Mick Foley is he had a right to be there. Obviously, he knows Hell in a Cell, and obviously, so he was perfect for that opportunity. Hogan, they just have him come out and just talk about nonsense, and they just have him for no reason. And that's why I don't like Hogan anyways, but I just can't stand it when Hogan just talks about nothing. And Mick Foley they actually put him in a segment that actually means something, and they can actually do something with him.
Absolutely. And Mick's great for that. I feel like Mick isn't going to come back to do some nonsensical segment that isn't going to benefit the performers involved. I've talked about Steve Austin on one of my recent videos and how I feel maybe he should host WrestleMania 31 and wrestle at 32 because he doesn't want to overshadow the talent on the card. I know that for a fact. And I feel like Mick's the same way. He's a humble guy. He doesn't want to overshadow the talent. He's done so much talent, so many favors, from Edge to so many young guys he's helped mentor over the years. And obviously he's taken an interest specifically to Ambrose, but the Rollins as well, all the Shield guys, and like I said, it was just great to see Mick Foley ain't gonna give you no bullshit. He's not gonna give you no WWE regurgitated PR crap. He's gonna give you the honest truth, straight up, and he did. And what he said about the Cell changing you, he of all people, he had to change his style after the Hell in the Cell, after Undertaker threw him off the Cell and nearly killed the man. He had to turn himself more comedic. You know, with Mr. Sacco and the Rock and Sock connection and everything else, and that extended Mick's career for a few years. But he's not lying. That match, especially the way it used to be, can really change a man's career. And with Seth and Dean in there and what I think they're going to do, well, it could have a lasting effect on both men's careers.
Definitely. It's going to be a great match. Can't wait for it. Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler. I was actually shocked. Dolph Ziggler is not looking too good. He keeps losing. But it's really good for Cesaro because Cesaro won cleanly with just an uppercut, too. He didn't even do his finishing move. So I thought his uppercut, though, is so, oh my God, that thing's deadly. How he uses it sometimes, and how, especially with Dolph Ziggler, how he sells out. One of the best sellers. He actually, I was reading an article or something on the top bestsellers, and Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins were up there. Both of them can sell out like crazy. And Dolph Ziggler, like whenever he gets hit in the face, he'll just when he hits the mat, it's perfect. Dolph Ziggler is definitely a very good person when it comes to selling moves. But yeah, Cesaro's looking very strong. I definitely think, and I hope they add this match to Hell in a Cell.
I think so.
Because obviously, and I know they're going to the Miz.
They said on
that
it probably will give rise to him getting a title shot.
Yeah, I think all the titles are actually going to be on the line except for maybe the tag team titles. I don't know.
Yeah.
They might, I don't know though. They keep doing this stuff with the Usos and Goldust and Stardust though too, but they really, it's weird because it's like they don't want to end with their feud. But have they actually gotten a rematch yet, the Usos?
Yeah, I think on like a Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah. So
It wasn't that.
Yeah, I don't know. They just keep throwing them into like like 6-man tag teams and stuff like that, or 8-man tag teams. They keep still doing stuff with the Usos and Goldust and Stardust. So I don't think it's actually over yet, but we'll see.
I mean, I feel like with the rumors with the Bray Wyatt stuff and maybe the Ascension getting called up, that could be the end of it. The Ascension maybe going in and cleaning house on both teams. I could see a scenario like that.
Yeah, definitely. Seth, Randy, and Kane backstage, and they're just arguing about who's going to be in charge of the match. And Triple H says that Kane's obviously going to be the general because Randy and Seth just keep arguing, and he's not going to have either one of them obviously do stuff. And so it starts the match.
I love how they use like business words and like try to trick the fans. Like when you're the ring general, what you do is you call the match. You dictate who's gonna get the heat, who's gonna get the shine, and that's what a ring general actually does. And it's just funny that they use that word, and like fans are gonna think one way of it, but that's actually not what it means. It just means he's. And Randy was the biggest veteran in the match, so usually the veteran is the general.
Yeah.
Don't you?
And then they start the match. It wasn't like a too short match. It was like a 15-minute match probably. But they obviously did their entrances and then they took another break. So, I hate when they do that. But it was a 3-on-2 handicap street fight. It was good. I thought it was pretty good for how long it was. And Cage came down near the end, and so everyone was trapped inside pretty much. And Randy RKO's Dean for the victory. It was pretty much chaos. Everyone was like thrown outside the ring, and Seth's like coming back in the ring after Randy RKO's Dean. And after Randy won, he's getting up, and Seth out of nowhere curb stomps Randy. It was pretty shocking. I didn't see it happening this soon. Definitely not. I thought their feud was going to be a few months more down the road, kind of near Royal Rumble. But I do think it's kind of weird how they left this a week before, the weekend before, the week before pretty much the pay-per-view. Because it's just like, I feel like it would have been better if they would have done this next Monday. So then if they really wanted to, they could have started, and especially if Brock Lesnar does not show up. I don't know if he will or not. But, and if Randy doesn't win the match, obviously, they could have done the Randy and Seth thing next month at Survivor Series, maybe like Team Randy versus Team Seth or something, like the Team Authority but versus whatever. But yeah, it was pretty shocking, and Seth climbed on top of the cage and obviously standing tall. They didn't show, I guess, him obviously climbing to the cage, but I read on Twitter, the people who were there at the live main event, they actually said, because I thought he got up there pretty fast. I'm just like, was it just weird? Yeah, someone told me that they were watching live, they were there at the live event, and they said, I've never seen someone climb that cage so fast. And that's probably what CrossFit does for him, He's obviously, it was actually funny, I seen a meme, someone actually took a picture of him climbing the cage, but they put Spider-Man's face on him. I wish they would have just, had the picture of him doing it, because then I would have posted to the group. But yeah, they said that like it was like crazy skills. Like he got up there in like 10 seconds, not even. Like it was fast.
Like with that happening, I feel like Dean and Seth are going to end up fighting on the top of that cell at some point. I wouldn't be shocked if Dean takes a curb on the cell and the damn thing breaks and they both fall. I think the possibilities. I wouldn't be shocked with Dean Ambrose and his, like, people are forgetting Dean Ambrose in hardcore matches will break out all the stops. He is from CCW. Let's not forget this. So I feel like this match is just going to be incredible. And, like, I actually am not surprised they did the Seth Rollins curb stomp on Randy Orton at the end, because now you're going into the pay-per-view and you're not quite sure what's going to happen. It kind of made it unpredictable.
Yeah, it makes it unpredictable.
Does Seth get involved in Randy's match? Could Randy get involved in Seth's match? Is Brock going to show up and destroy them all? so many possibilities that could happen, and that's what I like. I felt like it wasn't predictable. And obviously with that and the Orton RKO on Heyman, quite a few unpredictable moments this Raw. That's why I give it a 9 out of 10. And I know most likely tomorrow or Thursday we'll do our preview show for King of the Ring, for Hell in the Cell, and we'll get our specific predictions. But certainly there's a lot that could happen. There's a lot of possibilities, and that's what I liked about this ending. It kept you guessing. That's what I liked about it.
Definitely. I'm extremely excited for the Dean and Seth match. I think that's going to be crazy. I really hope that, like, they don't make Seth look weak in this. I really hope that they at least, even if someone like Randy or, you know, the Authority does get involved, I really hope that they actually let them go for at least a good 15 to 20 minutes before they actually, don't make it like no short match, you know, make it a good match. And if you have to have, like, you know, the Authority coming out to end it, obviously, whatever. But I want a good match between these two.
I feel like they have the potential to have the best I think I've said this in the past videos, to have the best Hell in a Cell match since Edge and Undertaker tore it up at SummerSlam in 2008. Since then, the Hell in a Cell match, there's been some decent ones. Randy and Sheamus a couple years ago was okay. Even Randy and Mark Henry wasn't terrible a couple years ago. But there really hasn't been that defining Hell in a Cell. The one they had at Mania with Taker and Shawn and Trips was more of like a great match inside of the Hell in a Cell as opposed to a great Hell in a Cell match. So I feel like with their athletic ability, their craziness, and I'm not just talking about the loose cannon lunatic fringe gimmick, but their ability to take crazy bumps and crazy punishment, we're going to see something we haven't seen in quite a long time. Maybe since Mick and Undertaker. Like that good. Seriously.
Definitely. Two very talented wrestlers, and they're both crazy, so God knows what they're going to do in there. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. And don't forget to join our Facebook group if this is the first time you're watching this. We will do a prediction show probably like Friday or something, because Thursdays for me are like crazy. I'm like not home all day. So probably like Friday or Saturday we'll do a prediction show, and obviously we'll do a review for the pay-per-view probably Monday. But if you guys liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to Joe on his channel. I will put that in the link of the description too. Hope you all have a fabulous night, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.